Welcome back to another final table commentary. If at any point in time you find yourself not caring for the commentary, there'll be a link in the description down below to the video and BCP Poker Replays YouTube account, so you can go check out the action in peace and quiet if that's how you choose to do so. With that being said, let's hop into the action. We got a 25k PLO from WCOOP 2018. Pretty damn stacked final table as always. We got I Need Masari, we got Dan Fanu, we got Rum, The Cleaner, E, LRS, and Bong Bob. Dan Fanu with the King Jack something something, gonna let it go on the button. 987 deuce for Rum. Looks like he limps it on in. The Cleaner checks it back. Ace 844, Queen 3-3 flop. Goes check check. Ace of diamonds on the turn. That's a pair for the Cleaner and a flush for Rum. 8 on the river. 2 pairs for the Cleaner. Half pot size bet by Rum. The Cleaner with a diamond blocker. Plays call and sees the bad news. Ace Queen Jack 3 for I Need Masari is going to go for the open. The Cleaner with the suited ace in the small blind finds the fold. 975 deuce double suited for E in the big blind. Sees a big raise pre-flop from a short stack. Probably just going to let this hit the muck. Just kidding. Jack Jack deuce flop. E says I've got the equity. I Need Masari says I've got 3 of a kind. Betting real small. 1 big blind to go. And E finds the fold. Ace 10-10-6 for E. LRS with Ace King 6-3 with the suited king. Sees a limp, he checks it back. King 5-5 flop. Goes check check 10 on the turn. That's about for E. LRS with the Ace King. 10 on the river, that's 4 of a kind. LRS does check back the river and sees the bad news. E up to 31 blinds now. Rum with an ace king queen 3 with the suited king goes for the min open. King Jack 10-4 for Bong Bob, defends the big blind. 6-4-3 flop. Both players with a pair, goes check check 8 on the turn. Bong Bob still in the lead with the pair of 4s. Queen on the river, that will do for Rum. 2 pairs, queens and 3s. We'll see if Rum goes for some value here. There's none to be had, but it does go for half pot size. And the bet gets through. King 9-8-8 for LRS on the button. We'll see if he opens it up. He says nope. I'm going to pass on it, and I Need Masari gets a walk. Ace 7-8-8 for I Need Masari in the small blind, goes for the limp. Dan Fanu checks back the Jack 10-8-7. Queen Jack 2 flop. 1 heart for Masari, he goes for a min bet. Dan Fanu comes along with their straight draw to the 9 and the pair. Queen on the river. Changing nothing. This will go check check and Dan Fanu will scoop a little pot. 9-7-7-6 for Dan Fanu, gonna limp it on in. We got kings with a suit for Rum going for the raise. Dan Fanu comes along to Jack 9-8 flop. Pair kings turns into a set and it's still good. Dan Fanu looking for a 10 or a fold, but he's not gonna get it. A 5 also works, doesn't it? Is he missing a card? It looks like he's missing a card. 7-6 makes a straight. What the hell's wrong with me? 3 of a kind for Rum. Sure, it looks like he's missing a 4 or a 10 though. But that's 5 in a row. Rum does lay it down. Nice fold. I Need Masari with a suited ace. Sees a limp under the gun from the Queen Jack, Jack 8 double suited. Masari says I'm coming along. Cleaner has a suited ace in the big blind. Ace Jack 10 flop. Middle set for E. Top and bottom pair for Masari. And then we got the top pair and the nut flush draw for the Cleaner. Excuse me. E bets. Masari calls. The Cleaner's going nowhere. 6 of spades on the turn. The Cleaner with the nuts. leads on out. The set folds, and Masari will also let their 2 pairs go. Jack, Jack, 6, 7 for the cleaner. Goes for the 3x from the small blind. Queen, Jack, 6, 5 for E will just find the fold. Masari with a couple of queens and a suit goes for the big raise pre-flop. This gets through pre for him. Ace 7, 7, 4 for the cleaner with the suited ace. We'll just let it hit the muck. E with double suited 8s goes for a limp. Queen Jack 7, 4 for LRS completes the small, and Bong Bob checks back the pre-flop. Flops top pair, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draws. E comes along, picks up the flush draw to go along with top pair. Turn goes check, bet, pot. Bong Bob doesn't want to see this. Izzy priced out of the pot. It's a real weird spot. He's only got 550k behind. Sees a 240k bet, which would leave him with 310. Weird spot, and Bong Bob says, I just gotta fold now. Ace Queen 10 3 for LRS will raise the button. Queens hit the muck for Bong Bob, and we move along. Who's got a holding? Does Bong Bob play this low stuff? 8 6 5 4. Looks like fun. Maybe if he was deeper. 13 blinds. He just has to let it go on the button. Dan Fanu gets a walk. Ace Jack 7 6 all clubs for Masari. Just gonna let that hit the muck. Rum gets a walk this time. Ace King 6 with a queen for Dan Fanu goes for a raise on the button. Rum calls the small blind with Ace 10 8 4 with 2 suits. The cleaner with a pair of 10s in the big blind comes along, picks up a straight draw to the jack. Top pair, top kicker for Dan Fanu, bets real small. 90k into 270. The cleaner folds a straight draw, and Dan Fanu scoops a little pot. Excuse me, coffee went down the wrong tube. Aces for Rum get no action. Masari folds the suited ace off 8 blinds. LRS gets a walk. Ace King King 4. No, Ace King 4 4. My bad. Goes for the 3x for LRS. That gets through pre-flop for him. 10 10 7 7 for the cleaner. Go for the big raise pre-flop. Masari with a suited ace in the big blind says I'm priced out. Would have been cool to see a flop, but Masari just doesn't have the chips right now. King's got a walk for Dan Fanu. And Masari being so short, I think everybody else is tightened up. Ace Queen Queen 5 for Bong Bob goes for the big raise pre-flop. Rum in the big blind with a pair of 9s and an ace and an 8. Lets it go. Queen Queen 10 9 for Bong Bob, right back in there. The cleaner with a suited ace in the big blind. Ace King 8 3. Not quite the connection we're looking for, so the cleaner just finds the fold. King Jack Jack 6 double suited for Dan Fanu will go for the open. Kings for Rum with a suited ace play call. Jack 7 6 flop 2 hearts. Interesting board. Top set for Dan Fanu starts things off with a check. Rum bets about half pot. Dan Fanu comes along to the ace on the turn. What do we do here with Ace King with the heart draw? We don't want to get bet off our equity on the turn here. So we check it back, ace on the river. Dan Fanu making a boat, losing to ace, jack, and aces. That's it. Bets pot. Rum with 3 of a kind, no boat for him here. He plays call and sees the bad news. Nice pot going Dan Fanu's way. Queen 10 8 3 double suited for Damvenu. We'll go for the open. Rum with an ace king, queen jack with a suit. Oh no, he's sitting out. He folded. Oh no, look at the flop. Ace queen jack. Pair of queens for Damvenu. Bet and take the pot. Masari with 10s and 7s. Double suited sticks in most of their chips. Looks like this will get through pre-flop for him. Ace jack 8-4 with a suit for the cleaner. Just lets go of it. LRS gets the chance to raise the queen 10-7-6. Masari in the big blind with a suited ace has to let it go. Man, it would have been fun to see Masari with a big stack in this final table. They're not dead, but they don't have much hope here. 5 big blinds. Everybody's tightened up. Ace jack 4-4 for Damvenu. Flopping 3 of a kind. Rum with a pair of queens. Uh-oh, now he's got 3 of a kind himself. Looking for a king, a queen, a 10, or a 9. There we go. King on the river, that will do. That's a boat. Damvenu bets real small. Rum calls and sees the great news. Ace king, jack 8 double suited for LRS goes for the big raise pre. Jacks for Damvenu call. 4-3-3 flop. So we got the front door flush draw and back door flush draw for LRS. We see the 7 of diamonds on the turn. Jacks are still good. 4 hearts on the river. That's no help for LRS. Damvenu will scoop a small one. Ace 10 8-5 for the cleaner. Goes for the limp from the small blind. E with a couple of queens. Jack 7 checks it back. 4-2-2 flop. The cleaner with a straight draw to the 3. Bets large on the flop. Queens come along. Queen on the turn. Diamonds complete. The cleaner without a diamond slows right down. E bets a little bit more than half pot. And the bet will get through. Ace king king 4 for Damvenu. Going for the raise. No action for him this time. Aces in the big blind for Bong Bob. Ace 9-8-7 for the cleaner goes for the big raise pre, and we're gonna get it all in. He's got the straight draw and he smacks it on the river. No problem for the cleaner. Aces don't hold. What a silly game. Ace queen queen 8 for Masari. Goes for the big raise pre. Damvenu says, I'm not priced in. No need to give Masari chips. Aces for E. Queens with a suited ace for Masari. E goes for the limp. All in from Masari. He's going to see the bad news. Oh, he's got a straight draw to the 10. Ace won't do. Just like that, we lose Masari. We lose Bong Bob. That's a damn shame. It would have been fun to see Bong Bob or Masari pick up some chips, but that's the way she goes sometimes. Aces for LRS. Check back the king 6-5 flop. That's a set of 6s for the cleaner. He's going to bet full pot, put the aces in a weird spot. LRS looking solely for an ace here. He finds the fold on the turn. Great shit. King queen 8-6 with a suit goes for the raise for Damvenu. Ace 9-8-6 double suited for E in the big blind. Plays 3 bet. The small sizing. Damvenu says, I'm still just gonna fold. 9-8-7-5 for the cleaner. Going for the open on the button. LRS folds the king 9-6-3 in the big blind. Ace jack 9-8 double suited for Rum will limp under the gun. Ace queen jack deuce completes the small blind for LRS. Damvenu checks back the 10-9 3 deuce flopping a pair of 3s, which is second best for the time being. We get a 6 on the turn. Rum with a pair of 8s. Okay, straight draws going on. Damvenu looking for a 7. Bingo. 7 of hearts. Danfanu makes the nuts. He bets full pot. And the other two fold. 9-8-6-6 will limp it in for Danfanu, and Rum checks back the ace king 8-8. Ace high board. Danfanu leads out. Ace on the turn. Rum sitting pretty with their 3 of a kind, just sweating the 6 here. Plays raise on the turn. That will buy the pot. Can you imagine if Danfanu 3 bets the turn here? Whoa, that'd be crazy. Queen, queen, 10-7 for LRS. Goes for the big raise pre-flop. King, jack, 10-4 for the cleaner. Just gonna fold the big blind. Double suited aces for LRS. Another big raise pre. This will get through pre-flop. 10-7, 5-5 for the cleaner. Thinking things through, and he does go for a raise on the button. This gets through pre-flop for him. Aces for Rum. Go for a limp without the suit. 10-9-5 flop. Got an open-ended straight draw for Danfanu, and he's going to lead on out and aces fold. Nice little steal there. King, queen, 10-4, I believe. Danfanu just lets it go from the small blind. Would have been nice to see him limp it in or do something funny. It's been fun to see Danfanu put a lot of pressure on Rum so far. 8-7-5-5 for Rum, just folds the button. Jack 10-9-6 double suited for Rum, will raise this time from the cutoff. Ace jack jack 3 will complete the big blind. 9. 8-7-2 flop. Got quite the straight draw going on for Rum. Not much doing for LRS. They just check fold. Ace king 7-5 for E with a suited king. Thinking about going for the raise. He says I'm gonna limp it in actually. 10-9-2 flop. Danfanu with a pair of 10s and 2s. Leads on out and takes the pot down. Ace king queen 9 double suited for E. See what sizing he goes with. King 4-2 flop. Top pair, top kicker for E. Rum with a jack 9-8-5 backdoor straight draw to 6-7. Right? That's about it. Finds a fold on the flop and we move along. Ace king 7 deuce for Danfanu. Plays big raise pre and takes it down. LRS with a couple kings and a suit. Plays the raise under the gun. 3.5x. E calls the big blind with ace 8-6-5. Queen 6-3 flop. Goes check check. 7 of spades on the turn. That's a very good card for E. He's got the straight draw going on. He's got the spade draw going on. He blocks the club draw. Might go for a lead here. LRS just with the pair of kings. They're still best, but what a scary turn. We're going to be guessing on all river cards, so LRS just finds the fold with the best fit. Queen 10-8-6 for Danfanu. Facing the 3-bet from ace jack 10-9 from the cleaner. We're double suited. I wonder if we go to the flop. Danfanu says nope, not today. King jack 9-5 double suited for LRS. We'll see what he does here in the small blind. Goes for the big raise pre-flop, 3x. 10-8-6 deuce calls the big blind. 7-4-4 flop. LRS with the flush draw. Danfanu with the flush draw. Danfanu also has a straight draw. 2 the 5 or jack now. Doesn't he have a wrap too? A 6, an 8, a 10 also work? We get the 3 of spades. What the hell is going on here? Is this no pairs? Does 8-6 make a straight? 8 deuce? 6 deuce? Does 6 deuce? No, it doesn't. There's just no straights going on here, and we got a pair of 9s for LRS. He's thinking about making the call here. If he calls, he's right. He's just got a pair of 9s with a straight blocker. Look at him in the tank facing the full pot size bet. Doesn't want to let this one go on the 3 river. 6-5 makes a straight. But then there's the 10-8-6 rapidy doodah that just missed. LRS does find the fold with the 9s, but it just shows you the level that he's on, where he's deep in the tank with a single pair there, on a not like a brick river. Interesting hand there. Dan Fanu ends up scooping it. E with a flush. What's going on here? We got a boat for rum, making it on the river. That's real small on the bet. No, didn't he bet pot? What am I talking about small for? E with the quick call and sees the bad news. Ace King 6-5 for rum. They'll raise 2.5x on the button. 10-9-9-3 comes along to the Ace 10-9 flop. Top pair, top kicker for rum. Betting a little bit more than half pot. E with bottom set going nowhere. The board's so wet, probably going to put in the check raise on the flop. Do we ever just call because the board's so wet? It's a weird spot. He could have aces, could have 10s. The queen jack 8, sort of rapidy doodah. Spades obviously. E puts in the check raise and he'll buy the pot on the flop. Uh-oh. Ace king queen deuce double suited sticks in the 3-bet here. Dan Fanu with 3 aces, 4 bets all in. Well, pretty well all in. What the hell do we do here? E does find the fold. Aces scoop the pot pre-flop for Dan Fanu, and that's a big pot going his way. Ace king 8-5 for the cleaner with a suited ace. We'll go for the open. And we get that through pre-flop. Queen jack 7-5 for Dan Fanu, goes for a 3x from the small blind. Ace 10-4-2 for rum, just finds the fold. E folds a suited ace under the gun, and the cleaner gets a walk. King 9-8 for rum. Gonna go for the open on the button. Look at this hand in the big blind. Queen jack 10-9 double suited. Goes for a 3-bet for E. Pretty well committing himself to the pot. And rum folds the kings. King jack 10-6 for Dan Fanu. We'll go for the open. King 10-9-6 for LRS, just folds the big blind. Ace queen jack 3 for E, just gonna let it go. Queen 10-8-6 for LRS with a suited queen, just gonna find the fold. 9-9-6-5 for Dan Fanu, we'll go for the 3x from the small blind and take it down pre-flop. Queen 10-6-4 for Dan Fanu, we'll raise the button. King queen jack 10 for the cleaner in the big blind, plays call. 8-7-4 flop, all diamonds. Flop goes check check, 2 on the turn. The pair of 4s is good for the time being. The cleaner looking for a king or a jack. Sees the half pot size bet on the deuce turn. Does have the jack of diamonds. I wonder if he's thinking about bluffing here. Oh my lord, he's thinking about a bluff. And he sticks in the raise. 760k. Dan Fanu's got a pair of 4s. Finds the fold, of course. Nice little play by the cleaner. Ace 3-3-2 for rum with a suited ace. We'll just find the fold from the cutoff. 10-10-7-6 for the cleaner. We'll limp it on in. 10-8-7-4 completes the small blind for E. LRS flops a set of 9s with the flush draw and the straight draw to the 10. The cleaner with a pair of 10s has an open-ended. No, he's got a rapidy doodah. He's got jack 10, 7-6 for a straight. Right? What is he playing here? 10-7? What do we got going on for LRS? Still the set of 9s? Wow, this board is difficult to read. Both players with a flush draw, by the way. Cleaner bets full pot. LRS calls 7 of diamonds on the river. That's good news for him. Both players make the flush. No straight flush for the cleaner. Facing the lead jam. He will pay it off. 400k into 2 mil. Or into what would be 2 mil. Do-ba-dee do, do-do-ba-dee-do. We move along with an ace 9, 6, 8, going for the raise, flopping the straight. LRS with a straight draw to the 8. Sees a large bet, and he just has to fold on the flop. Ace, king, queen, jack for the cleaner will go for the open. Jack 9, 7, 5 for rum completes the big blind 8, 4, 4 flop. Nope. 8, 8, 4 flop. That's what I said. And I was right the first time. Check, check on the flop, 7 on the turn. Rum leads out with a straight blocker in the pair of 7s, and he gets the job done. Jack 10, 8, 6 for Dan Fanu. We'll raise it on up. Queen, queen, 4, 4. For rum completes the small blind. Jacks in the big blind come along. Ace 5, 2 flop. Queens are still good for the time being. We get a king on the turn. Dan Fanu and the cleaner both with a straight draw to the queen. Dan Fanu blocks some flush draws that could call. 8 of diamonds on the river. Queens are good for the small pot, providing they don't fold. Ace, king, jack, 8 for LRS. Goes for the open. 3.5x. Do. This will get through pre-flop for him. Looks like LRS gets a walk. What's going on here? Jack, jack, 9, 5. Gonna go for the limp. Dan Fanu with king 10, 6, 3. Sees the jack 10, 3 flop. 2 pairs for Dan Fanu. Bets 75% pot. Top set comes along to the 9 on the turn. So king, queen makes a straight. 8, 7. And queen 8 make a straight. 9 on the river giving LRS a boat. Dan Fanu checks back the pair of 10s. LRS scoops a small one. Ace, king, jack, 4 for LRS. We'll go for the open on the button. 10, 7, 7, 5 for rum. We'll see if he completes the big blind, and that he does. Flops a pair. Some backdoor straight draws and a backdoor spade draw. Leads on out. What do we do with the ace, king, jack here? LRS finds the fold. The cleaner gets a walk with a shit hand. Good news for him. 9, 7, 5, 5 for Dan Fanu, going for the open. Jack 8, 6 deuce for the E. We'll just find the fold. King, jack, 9, 8 for Dan Fanu, going for the open. King, king, jack, 10 for the cleaner. Plays call. LRS in the big blind with a pair of 6s just finds the fold. Ace 5, 2 flop. 2 hearts out there for both players. Kings are still good for the time being. And we see the 8 of hearts on the turn, so Dan Fanu makes the second nuts. He's going to check it on over to the cleaner, play it sneakily. The cleaner checks back 5 on the river. With possible full houses now, Dan Fanu bets real small. And the cleaner plays call. Sees the bad news. Dan Fanu with 91 blinds now. 5.5 million chips. Ace, king, 9, 3 for LRS with a suited king. We'll go for the limp. Dan Fanu with the ace, king, queen 7 with suited ace. Going for the raise. And LRS lets their shit hit the muck. Ace, king, 7, 6. Going for the raise for the cleaner. And rum completes the big blind with 10, 8, 5, 4. Queen 7, 3 flop. The cleaner with a pair of sevens will bet a little bit less than half pot. Rum with a straight draw, just gonna find the fold on the flop. Ace queen 8-4 for Dan Fanu, going for the open on the button with the suited ace. A couple of kings in the big blind for the cleaner with a suit. 10-5-5 flop. Dan Fanu with a couple overcards, backdoor flush draw. On a paired board, he says let's go for a small bet. The cleaner with the flush draw and the pair of kings, backdoor straight draw. Has a lot going on here, puts in the check raise. They should buy the pot on the flop here. Dan Fanu will find the fold. King, queen, queen 10 for Dan Fanu will go for the open. King 10-5 deuce for E. We're double suited. We do go along to the queen 4-2 flop. E's got an open-ended straight draw to the ace or 6, and then some back doors to like jack 9, jack ace. Finds the fold on the flop. Thought we were going to a turn there, but Dan Fanu buys the pot. Ace queen 10-4 for the cleaner, going for the open. 7-6-4 flop. Good news for LRS with the nut flush draw. Pair of fours for the cleaner will check back the flop. 3 of clubs on the turn. LRS leads on out. Doesn't have a straight blocker, but it doesn't matter. The bet will get the job done. Ace king jack 10 for the cleaner will go for the open. 9-9-3 flop. Dan Fanu just with backdoor straight draws. Oh, bink. Oh, just kidding. That ace is dirty. The cleaner playing ace king. We're going to need to see a jack to chop things up. A 7 or 6 is no help for Dan Fanu. Deuce is not what we're looking for. The cleaner makes the flush. The cleaner bets about half pot. Dan Fanu playing ace jack. Would have been interesting to see a check raise bluff. Needed some spades probably to pull that maneuver off. King jack 6 flop. You know, I'm always just rooting for action. There's just no reason for Dan Fanu to go for the check raise bluff on that river. I just wanted to see it. 2 pairs for Dan Fanu. 2 pairs for LRS with the nut blocker. He's got a royal flush blocker. He's gonna bet about 2/3. Hard to do math right now. And Dan Fanu finds the fold with the same hand. Jack 10-9-3 for Dan Fanu. Going for the open, no action for him this time. Queen 9-7-6 for the cleaner. We'll limp it on in. He checks back the king jack 3-3. Ace 10-4 flop goes bet. E with a straight draw to the queen. We'll see if he comes along. He says no, I'm just done with the hand. Jack 9-8-7 for the cleaner. Just gonna fold the button. Ace king queen 6 for E. We'll 3x it from the small blind. And LRS folds and we move along. Jack 10-10-7 for E. We'll see if he opens it up, or is this just gonna hit the muck? No, he goes for the 3.5x from the button. LRS with a couple of kings plays 3-bet. Putting E in a weird spot here. Hopefully he can just find the fold and preserve his life. LRS with a 10. That's bad news for E. E does find the fold and good shit. He was in trouble there. Ace 10-6-5 will go for another 3.5x. And he'll take it down pre-flop. Dan Fanu raising it up with the king jack 5-5. King queen 10-9 completes the small blind. Ace queen 9 flop goes check check 9 on the turn. That's a boat for rum. Danfanu with a straight draw to the 10 and the diamond draw. Diamond's complete on the river. Rum checks it on over. Danfanu probably going to go for some value here. Oh, when he checks back the river. Great play by Danfanu. Says there's no value to be had here. Was just dead on the turn. What a play. King 10 8 8 for Danfanu, raising it on up. 5-3 deuce flop. LRS with a pair of jacks. Queen on the turn completes the flush. We'll see if the 8's bluff here or not. Nope. LRS will just scoop a small pot. Ace queen queen 5 for the cleaner, double suited. We'll go for the open and take it down pre-flop. King Jack 10 8 for Danfanu. We'll raise it on up and take it down. Aces for LRS. Jack Jack 5-3 for the cleaner in the big blind. Just gonna find the fold, so no action for the aces. Ace 10 9 8. LRS is right back in there. Ace Queen 6-5 for the cleaner. Just gonna fold the small blind. Thought about it for a second though. Jack 10 10 9 for Rum. Gonna go for the open. Just a min open. Double suited jacks for the cleaner. Plays 3-bet here. Kings fold the small blind. And the cleaner's 3-bet gets through. Ace King 10 4. The cleaner's right back in there. Ace King 9 5 for Danfanu in the big blind. Plays 3-bet. Putting a lot of pressure on the Ace King 10 4. And it does find the fold. Queens for LRS will go for the open on the button. Jack 10 8 6 calls the big blind, flops a flush draw. It is dominated by LRS. Deuce on the turn. Queens are still good. 4 on the river. Rum does block 6-5. This will go check check. LRS scoops a little pot. Yeah, I just want Rum to bluff. I just want Danfanu to throw every hand in the bluffing category. Just want to see action. I just want to see chips fly around. Jack 9 8 7 double suited for Danfanu. King Jack 9 8 for the cleaner. Let's just 3-bet for no reason. Thought about playing call. Finds the fold. Danfanu with an Ace King 8 6 with a suited ace. We'll go for the open. LRS with double suited Queen 10 3 3. He's a big raise pre. Danfanu hasn't been using that size a whole lot, so LRS just finds the fold with the marginal holding. Rum limps in the kings, the cleaner with aces. Plays raise, aces for Danfanu. I am going to get some action this hand. What the hell's going to happen? We're going to chop it up. Da-doo-ba-dee-doo-doo. Ace Jack 9 3. Going for the open for LRS. Queen 9 6 5 for Rumble. Just fold the big blind. 10 9 7 6 double suited for LRS. Going for the open. And getting it through pre-flop. Ooh, a walk for E off the short stack. That's good news. King King 4 4 for the cleaner. We'll open up the button. No action for him. Aces for E, going for the big raise pre. King Jack 6 5 for Danfanu in the big blind. We'll call. King 7 6 flop. E's gonna need some help here. Does not find it. Danfanu with 2 pairs will take down the pot. Ace Jack 8 7. Big raise pre-flop from the cleaner. King 9 5 5 for Rum. We'll just fold the big blind. I can't lie. I think I want to see a heads-up battle between Danfanu and LRS. Let's just see. Oh, the cleaner's Rum's a great player, man. But LRS and Danfanu, it just seems like that's the way things are brewing. LRS coming in with one of the shorter stacks has done a great job of chipping up. Ooh, we got the nut straight for the cleaner. Nothing doing for Danfanu. Flop goes check check. The cleaner with a royal flush draw blocker. Danfanu's bluffing with a pair of sixes here. This is what we came to see. The cleaner has the royal flush. It's not possible now. Not possible. I was going to say blocker once again. The straight flush blocker blocks 10-9 suited. Ace 10 betting full pot. That gets through for the cleaner. Jack 10-9 6 for Danfanu. Gonna limp it on in. Queen 4-4 flop. Both players with a flush draw to the diamonds. Flop goes check check 3 on the turn. Danfanu leads on out. And Rem comes along. 6 on the river. 8s are good here. Rem will scoop a small pot. Aces and jacks for Danfanu. Raising the button. Ace 8, 3 deuce for the cleaner. Just gonna fold the big blind. Top pair, flush draw, and a straight draw for LOS. Set for Danfanu. Very interesting turn card. Danfanu betting quite large. LRS probably not going nowhere. He's got quite the draw going on here. Plays call, smacks the 7 of diamonds on the river. Goes check check, and LRS scoops the pot. Jack jack 5-4 will open it up for the cleaner. Ace 6-6-3 won't defend the big blind. Ace king jack 5 for the cleaner will open it on up. Ace king 10 deuce defends the big blind. 10-9 6 flop. Goes check check 10 on the turn. The cleaner looking solely for a queen here. Does an 8 help? Nope. Rum with 3 of a kind leads out and takes down the pot on the turn. Ace king queen deuce for Danfanu, opening it on up, and the cleaner folds. Queen jack 4-3 double suited for the cleaner, gonna limp it on in. 10-7 8-6 for LRS. Plays raise 3x. He's got quite the connectivity going on. Doesn't have a suit, which is bad news, and the raise will get through pre-flop. Ace king 7-5, raising it on up for the cleaner. No action this time. Ace jack 10-7. The cleaner's right back in there. A couple of kings for LRS. Playing call. King 10-6 flop. We got the nut flush draw for the cleaner, a straight draw to the queen, top set for LRS. Just giving the cleaner a fair price to come along to the turn. The cleaner says, let's just get this in right here and now. 5 of clubs. The board doesn't pair. LRS loses an 80 big blind pot with a top set. Then he's going to stick in most of his chips here with the queen, jack, 8-10. Flops the nut flush draw, just a pair of 3s, holding on up for the time being. Hard to call with a pair of 3s here. I would imagine the cleaner's just gonna fold. Can you imagine if he calls though? And like the 3s hold up? That would be one hell of a happening. We're not gonna see it. 9-8-7-4 for Danfanu, raising it on up. Queen 10-8 deuce for LRS. Thinking about coming along to the flop here. Would be 100k. He's only got 900. He just finds the fold pre-flop. Aces for the cleaner. Rum with queen jack 9-9. Double suited. Going for the limp. The cleaner bumps things up. Interesting spot here for Rum. They do come along to the jack 5-4 flop. 2 spades for Rum. He's got the straight draw. Got a pair of jacks. Queen jack 9 spade, that's what he's looking for. I don't know if this gets in on the flop or not. Might just call facing the small bet. limp raise pre-flop. Deuce on the turn, the cleaner makes a straight. So Rum looking solely for a spade now. The cleaner bets quite large, leaving Rum with 1 million chips behind. He just has to find the fold on the turn. Aces for LRS. We'll see if he can get some chips back here. Queen 8-7-3 double suited for Rum. We'll just fold the big blind. Ace Jack 7-5 for Danfanu, raising it on up. Ace King 10-6 for the cleaner. Gonna defend the big blind in some manner. Plays call. King 5-4 flop. Pair of 5s for Danfanu with the backdoor straight draws. Checks it back. 5 on the turn. The cleaner with top pair, top kicker. And we've seen Danfanu bluff with quite a few holdings here. He does check back the turn and makes a boat on the river. Diamonds complete. We'll see if the cleaner pays off a bet or not. About 200k into just under 400. Half pot size. Top pair, top kicker, and the cleaner does find the fold. Queen 10-8-6 double suited for the cleaner, playing big raise pre-flop, taking it down. Queen 9-9-5, we'll see if he's right back in there. Nope. Danfanu gets a walk. King 9-4 double suited. LRS will play big raise pre. 7-6-5-4 for Rum in the big blind. 200 more K to go. Rum says this is connected, but I just gotta find the fold. It would be horrific for Rum to double up LRS, or to give him any chips for that matter. King 7-5 for the cleaner. We'll play big raise from the small blind. 8-8-6-3 for LRS. Probably gonna find the fold. He is in position. It would be interesting to go to the flop. I like to see chips be thrown around. LRS says I'm gonna preserve mine. Ace King Queen. Oh no, Ace King Jack 8 for the cleaner. We'll raise it on up. And no action for him. King 7-5. The cleaner will be right back in there. And he takes down another pot pre-flop. Queen 10-9-3 versus Kings. LRS goes for the under the gun raise. Jack 7-7 flop. 2 diamonds for both players. LRS is in trouble here. Does have a straight draw to the 8. Sees a small lead. What a weird spot to be in here with the flush draw and the straight draw. 9 on the river, that won't do it. The cleaner will knock out LRS, finishing him off. And just like that, we've got a huge heads-up battle between the cleaner and Danfanu brewing. Rum with 16 blinds says, I'm not done just quite yet there, Brendan. Don't forget about me. Ace King 6-5, let's go for the raise. King Jack 10-4 for the cleaner, finding the fold from the small. And Danfanu folds the big blind. Queen 10-9-7 for Danfanu, raising it up pre-flop. Rum with the Queen Jack 5-4. Oh, he flops top pair, open-ended straight draw. We're going to get this one all in. Ace on the turn. What do we do? 8. Oh, Danfanu makes a better straight. That's horrific news for Rum. And just like that, we're heads up. 7-6 deuce for Danfanu. Do we make a deal or do we play it on out? We're playing super deep heads up poker here. 80 big blinds deep. PLO. What the hell's going on here? 7-6 deuce taking a stab. Danfanu asks again, are we going to look at numbers? The cleaner says, I'm just going to call. Deuce on the turn. That's good news for Danfanu. Making a set. The cleaner with a 3 or an 8 full house draw. Hopefully you can just fold here. Doesn't. 6 of spades on the river. 2.4 mil gonna be sliding Danfanu's way. And maybe the cleaner should have looked at numbers. This might be Danfanu's tournament to take down. Usually you get a response when you say deal question mark, look at numbers question mark. Usually your opponent says no or yes. Just no response from the cleaner. Very interesting. Is it mind games? I don't know, but we made a straight on the turn here. Dan Fanu does have a redraw to the spade. Doesn't have any straight draws going on. Sees about a pot-sized bet on the turn here. And the straight doesn't get any action this time. Queen 10-8, 4, gonna limp it on in for Dan Fanu. King Queen 3-5 for the cleaner, checks it back. King 7-3 flop. Oh, the cleaner finally says, nah, I'm good. After 15 hands. Ooh, Dan Fanu says this is gonna be for Hungary. Wonder what was going on in Hungary in 2018. Somebody let me know. Hopefully Dan Fanu can get the job done here. Couple of pairs for for the cleaner. He's just gonna find the fold on the turn there. Good news for Dan Fanu. Gets a bluff through. The nut straight for the cleaner in position. Will bet and probably take the pot down on the flop. Dan Fanu goes in the tank with the 8-7-4-4, but he does let it go. Three 2-2 flop. Dan Fanu with a straight draw to the 5 in position. 4 of hearts is a very interesting card to have. 6 of hearts on the turn, both players making a pair. The cleaner with the best of it with King 6 for the time being. Queen on the river doesn't change nothing, so the cleaner will scoop this providing he doesn't fold. No bets go in, so there's no sweat. 3-5 of spades for the cleaner, flopping the flush draw. What's going on here for Dan Fanu? Just a pair of 6s. 10 of spades on the turn, so the flush complete straights get there. If they weren't already a straight on the flop. 9 on the river. Dan Fanu sitting here with a pair of 6s. The cleaner with the flush goes for a small value bet on the river. And Dan Fanu folds. Queen 8-5-4 going for the big raise pre-flop. Dan Fanu will buy the pot. Queen Jack 6-4 for the cleaner. Big raise pre-flop. A6-3 flop. All spades goes check check. 4 on the turn. No help for Dan Fanu. 2 pairs for the cleaner. Ace on the river. Dan Fanu doesn't have a great reason to bluff with his holding, but he does bet half pot here, putting the cleaner in a weird spot with the 6s and 4s. Oh, he's going to turn his hand into a bluff. Blocking 6s and 4s. Blocking ace-6, ace-4. And the bluff gets through. The cleaner flopping a straight draw to the 5 or 10. Top. Oh no, middle set. Turns into a boat, doesn't it? That it does. Dan Fanu with a boat. The cleaner with their draw leads out on the turn. Uh-oh, 5 of diamonds on the river. Not a straight flush, just a flush for the cleaner. A 9 high flush, not that great. I wonder if it's good enough for a check call on a paired board. Weird spot for the cleaner. It's just a check fold, nicely done. 6-5, nope, 6-3-2 flop. 7-4 with a straight draw to the 5 for the cleaner. With a pair of 7s, those are good for the time being. Deuce on the turn. Dan Fanu looking for a 4, a diamond. A 5 is no good. The cleaner bets quite large on the turn here. Dan Fanu pays off another bet. Queen of hearts on the river. This thing might go check check. And the cleaner will scoop a 2.4 million chip pot. That it does. King 10-9 for Dan Fanu, raising it on up. Queen Jack 10-8 for the cleaner. King 5-4 flop. Danfanu with the top set. Backdoor straight draws for the cleaner, sees a large bet on the flop, will just check fold. King Jack 7-4 going for the raise. King Queen Queen 6 defending the big blind. 10-10-8 flop. The cleaner with a flush draw and a straight draw to the 9. Betting small. Right around half pot, a little bit less. Danfanu calls with the queens. Deuce of spades. Nope. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. Goes check, check, 7 on the river. Danfanu's queens hold on up. The cleaner doesn't bluff with the pair of 7s. 9-5-4-3, raising and taking it down pre. Ace King 6-4, raising. Danfanu defending Queen 9-4 deuce, flopping top pair with the flush draw. Turning 2 pairs. The cleaner with a straight draw to the jack and the flush draw to the spade. Sees a pot size bet, has a 4 as well. So an ace or king work, instead we see the 7 of diamonds. 2 pair for Danfanu, hold up. 1.4 mil will slide his way providing he doesn't check fold. Doopity-doo. The cleaner deep in the tank does check back the pair of 4s and sees the bad news. King Queen 9-8 raising and taking it down pre. 10-9-6-4. Limping. King 10-9-6 checks back. Ace 8 flop. Backdoor straight draws for the cleaner. Bets real small, about half pot. And Danfanu folds. Ace Queen 8-3 raising it up. Ace 9-5-4 defending the big blind. 7-5-4 flop. 2 pair for the cleaner. Backdoor flush draw. Backdoor straight draw. Sees a small bet. Puts in the check raise. Lots going on here for him. Not much doing for Danfanu. Backdoor flush draw. Just check. Bet fold. Sorry. Ace 8-5 raising it up. Queen 10-6-3 gonna flop a flush. Cleaner bets small. Danfanu going nowhere. Plays call. 6 of clubs on the turn. The cleaner does block the straight flush with the 5 of clubs. Goes check, check on the turn. 3 on the river. Danfanu betting small here with the flush. The cleaner calls down with the aces and the flush blocker and sees the bad news. 10-7-8-6 for the cleaner, raising 3x. Danfanu with ace 10-9-3, 3 bets to 9 big blinds. Would be interesting to see a call here. This would be big pot. We do see a call. Ace Queen 4 flop, not what the cleaner's looking for. Danfanu bets real small and the bet will get through. Ace 8-7 deuce raising it up. Ace Queen 9-5 defending the big blind. King Queen Queen flop. Danfanu bets a third. 3 of a kind for the cleaner will call. Deuce on the turn. Danfanu completely dead here. Needs to buy the pot somehow. And the cleaner's going nowhere with ace queen. 3 on the river. I'm pretty sure the cleaner's just in check call mode. Danfanu will see if he takes another stab at the 1.6 mil. He does. 1.2 mil and the cleaner quickly check calls. Nicely done by the cleaner to pick off a big bluff. Reestablish the lead and then you flop 3 pairs. Betting half pot. Backdoor straight draws for Danfanu. We'll just check fold. King 5-3 deuce gonna limp it on in. Flop top pair. The cleaner with the nuts straight. Checks it on over. 5 on the turn, so Danfanu picks up some outs to the king or 5. The cleaner holding a 5. 7 on the river. The cleaner bets 75%. maybe 76. And Danfanu calls with the 2 pairs and sees the bad news. Ace 9, 10, 4 going for the raise, 3x, and taking it down pre-flop. Ace Queen 3, 3, raising it up, taking it down pre-flop for the cleaner this time. Ace King 8, 4, raising. Queen Jack 4 deuce defending the big blind. 9, 8, 7 flop. The cleaner with the Queen of Diamonds says, I'm going to lead out here with my straight draw to the 10, blocking a lot of combos that you would call me with the Queen of Diamonds. And bet gets through. Queen Queen 3, 3 for Danfanu, raising it up. No action for him this time. Jack 10, 8, 3, gonna raise for the cleaner. And no action for him. King Queen 6, 4, raising for Danfanu. Queen 9, 3, deuce, defending the big blind. Jack 10, 9 flops, so Danfanu flops the nuts. Goes check, check, queen on the turn. The cleaner turning outs to the queen, a 9, or a spade. Danfanu bets pot. Ace on the river, so the king queen holds up. Queen 9 doesn't improve. And the cleaner leads out. 400k, uh-oh. 400k, he's not going to get back. Danfanu min raises. I was wondering what size he was going to go with there. Goes for the min raise, just trying to get a call. Doopity-doo, not this time though. Jack 10, 5, 4, thinking about coming along with a pair of 10s, which was best for the time being. Danfanu finds the fold. What do we got going on here? A pair of 5s versus a straight draw? No, that's a set of 4s, my bad. The cleaner makes a pair of aces, but he's looking for an 8. There it is. 8 of clubs on the river. The cleaner makes a straight. And Danfanu with a set with the flush blocker. What do we do? Does find the fold, nicely done. Just got a horrific turn and got a even worse river. Danfanu finds the fold with the set. Well played. Queen 6, 6 flop goes check, check, jack on the turn. Both players playing Jack 10 right now. Danfanu does have the heart draw and he bangs it off on the river. The cleaner with 2 pairs, jacks and 10s. Nope. Yep, that's what he's playing, jacks and 10s. Uh-oh. This is a bluff here. He's repping the old jacks, repping 10s, repping the full houses, putting the flush in a very difficult spot. Danfanu blocking those full houses as well. I think he's going to eventually land on a call here. No, he folds and the cleaner scoops the pot. Very well played by the cleaner. Ace Queen 2 flop. Danfanu with the straight draw to the jack, backdoor flush draw to the hearts. Out of position, not necessarily a fun hand to play, so we just check folds. King 10, 8, 6 for Danfanu, raising 3x. Ace 10, 6, 4. Gonna 3-bet the big blind. Danfanu does come along to the Jack 5, 4 flop. 1.8 million chips in the middle. This is a big one. Got a pair of 4s for the cleaner. What do we got going on here for Danfanu? A straight draw to the 7? Surely we've seen better flops before. Danfanu bets half pot. Did we just fold the pair of 4s here? What the hell is going on in this hand? The cleaner puts in the raise as a bluff and it'll get through. What an interesting hand that was. Huge pot going the cleaner's way. Someone correct me on that if that wasn't a bluff. Like, that has to be a bluff with a pair of 4s. Is it just to like protect all your equity? Like, what in the world? PLO is such an interesting game. As we see the re-raise from the deuces blocker with the pair of queens. Backdoor flush draw. We see a 5 of clubs on the turn, so Dan Fanu makes a straight. 570k is the bet into 770-ish. And the bet will get through. Aces versus a whole bunch of 9s. We'll see if Dan Fanu defends the big blind. Nope. King, queen, 9, 6 going for the raise and taking it down pre-flop. 9, 6, 5, 3 for the cleaner. We'll raise it on up. Dan Fanu flopping 3 of a kind. Nope, that's a boat. Playing Jack 8. The cleaner with one hell of a straight draw going on here. Looking for a 4, a 5, a 6, a 9, or a 10. We see the king of diamonds on the river. Dan Fanu with the top boat checks it on over. The cleaner does put in a very, very small bet. Dan Fanu will check raise this and scoop the pot. Does the cleaner ever 3-bet all in? Oh, we're in the tank. We're thinking about 3-betting all in. Uh-oh. What an interesting hand. Or are we just saving face? There's no way we're thinking about 3-betting all in with that hand. Anyways, we're going to move along. The cleaner's got one hell of a straight draw going on here. And he's 7, 9, 10, jack. Does a king work? I don't think so. Nope. We see the deuce of spades on the turn. Aces for Dan Fanu holding up, betting a million chips. I don't think the cleaner can fold yet. Puts in the check raise on the turn. He says, let's get this all in. Equities are going to run real close here, and Dan Fanu folds the best of it for the time being. I mean, just the made hand. I don't know actually which hand is ahead that time. On the flop, it's real close, I'm pretty sure. Aces versus some sort of rapidy-doodah. Anyways, we're moving along. Both players with a flush draw. The flush draw misses. Dan Fanu puts in a little bluff. I should have been paying more attention, my bad. The cleaner picks it off with a pair of aces. Da-doo-bitty-doo. Jack 8-8 flop. Goes check, check, 3 on the turn. Giving Dan Fanu the best of it with a pair of 3s for the time being. Nope, what am I talking about? The cleaner's got a pair of jacks. What the hell's wrong with me? Sorry. I'll get caught up here. Pair of 3s will fold. Ace king jack 3 for Dan Fanu. Limping it in. King queen 6-4 checking it back. Ace 10 3 flop. Top and bottom pair for Dan Fanu with a straight draw to the queen. Backdoor spades. They'll bet a big blind. The cleaner with a straight draw to the jack and backdoor clubs. Uh-oh. We see the jack of diamonds on the turn. The cleaner with the nuts. Leads out for just under pot. Dan Fanu with 3 pairs looking to boat up. 9 of diamonds on the river. Both players are not too happy about that. The cleaner does put in a small bet here, blocking diamonds. Says I still have my straight. Hopefully I can get called by 2 pairs. And Dan Fanu's deep in the tank here, saying, what do I beat? Nothing. So he finds the fold, sees the good news. He's got aces. Facing a 3x, he'll stick in most of his chips here. And you'll get the raise through pre. Queen, queen, jack 4 versus the ace, jack, queen 6. Limp raise. Dan Fanu re-raises to 9 blinds. I think the cleaner gets this one all in, doesn't he? This is a strong play. The limp, raise, re-raise. Super strong. King, jack 5 flop. I don't know what happens here. All in and a call. King on the river. The queen's hold. Very interesting hand. Neither player scared of that king on the flop. Very interesting. Aces for Dan Fanu. 3 betting the big blind. King 7-4-4 defends. King 3-2 flop. Backdoor diamonds for the cleaner. A 4 is a dirty out, as it would give Dan Fanu a straight. 7 is a clean out. 8 is not what we're looking for. 3 million chips in the middle and we're all in. Ace on the river, that will do for Dan Fanu. He gets the full double up. Reestablishes the lead, 62 blinds to 44 now. Oh, when we got a set versus straight draw. Dan Fanu also has backdoor heart draw. But the cleaner's going nowhere. Queen Jack is a flop straight. The cleaner puts in the check raise. Dan Fanu puts in the bet fold. We move along. 7-3-3-2 for the cleaner, double suited, going for the raise. Ace King Queen 3 defending the big blind. King 9-8 flop. 2 spades for the cleaner, backdoor clubs as well. Spade on the turn, that will do. Dan Fanu has no outs. Looks like about a half pot size bet. And Dan Fanu folds. Ace 5-4-2 raising it up. King Queen 10-8 defending the big blind. King 6-6 flop. Dan Fanu with the backdoor spade draw, backdoor straight draw, checks back the flop. 10 on the turn, giving the cleaner a boat. No, it's not. He's got 2 pairs, kings and 10s. What's wrong with me? I said I was going to get caught up, but just clearly haven't. Anyways, let's remove the glasses and see if that helps out. Bet call, 3 on the river. Interesting stuff. What do we do here with the ace high? We just check it back and the cleaner scoops a 1.8 million chip pot. Jack 10-4 raising 3x. 7-7-4-2 defending the big blind. Flopping a flush draw. A boat draw. Backdoor straight draw. Spades complete on the turn. The cleaner looking for a jack or 3. We see the king of diamonds on the river. Dan Fanu leads on out. Would be interesting to see the cleaner go for a raise here. Blocking 10s, blocking straights, blocking flushes. Lots going on there for the cleaner, but he just folds. Middle set for Dan Fanu. Checks it back. 5 of diamonds on the turn here. The cleaner does have a pair of 5s. Now 2 pairs, 5s and 3s. This might just go check with all the straight possibilities out there. Would be an interesting thin value bet on the river. Dan Fanu blocks 9s, a set that beats him. He says 7s, I can go for a thin value bet, and the 3-5 does pay it off. So nicely done by Dan Fanu. King Jack 4 facing a 3 bet from the 8-7-6-4 double suited. This is going to be a big pot here. The cleaner calls. Jack 7-3 flop. That's what we're looking for. Dan Fanu missing a 5. Has backdoor diamonds, backdoor clubs. We're going to get this all in. Deuce on the turn, 9 on the river. That's not what Dan Fanu's looking for. The cleaner pretty well gets the job done here. Flopping top set versus a flush draw, and the set holds. GG. What a game. I think the only thing that we missed in this final table was a little bit more from Bong Bob and I Need Masari. They just didn't have the chips. Could you imagine if this thing started off Bong Bob, like 40 blinds, Masari with 30, and then we just get this like nice deep 25k PLO, just a stacked final table. Anyways, it was still very fun to watch. If you made it all the way through, thanks for checking this shit out. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hopefully we see you in another one. Adios, amigos.